Like, my introduction into skating was through roller skating, and I would go with my older sister to roller skate rinks at like 3 and 4 years old. And when I was old enough, it became a lifestyle. And a local pro, Tyler Shields, came up to my dad and he was like, "Have you ever thought about putting Fallon in competitions?" He was like, "I've never seen a girl as good as her, and she's 12 years old. At 13 years old in 1999, I was invited onto the pro tour. And I started that. My skate career was launched. In high school, I was an all-state athlete, kept my grades on par, graduated with honors, and I got offered a full scholarship to Jacksonville University in Florida. And things changed pretty quick after that transition.
I remember the first time I met Fallon. She came to Monterey. She was coming through on a Daily Bread tour. And she came right up to me. She's like, "Oh my gosh, you're my hero. I grew up idolizing you." And I was like, cool.
I ended up winning the World Championships for my first time. And I was going to like the after parties. I was 19, getting into these clubs, and everyone was doing cocaine. Everyone. So I tried it for my first time in Los Angeles at 19 years old. It was awesome. It was the best feeling ever. The first few months, man, it was fun. I didn't suffer any consequences. I got more and more popular. I got more and more skinny. Finally, like, I started to reap some consequences, and I wasn't going to practice anymore. I couldn't do anything in school. I was going to class and leaving every 20 minutes to snort coke in the bathroom, and everything was falling apart around me. No skating, no running. I forgot my family, everything. So I got drug tested going into the Atlantic Sun Conference Championships, and I tested positive for cocaine. I was tested again for a second time and tested positive again for cocaine. And this time I was removed from the team. And I had 2 weeks to leave Jacksonville University. You know, my life was pretty much over as far as I was concerned. So in those 2 weeks before I left the school, I started using heroin mixed with my cocaine. And everything that I said that I would never do in life, I said that I would never steal, I said that I would never inject drugs. Like, I would never do those things, and I completely lost myself. So I called up a friend and said, "Hey, I'm gonna come over and I wanna stay in your house, and I'm gonna yell and I'm gonna scream at you. I might get violent because my withdrawal is gonna be so intense, but do not let me leave." So May 30th, 2007 was the end of that chapter of my life. And I got up and I drove across the country with a close friend, kissed everyone goodbye, and started over in San Francisco. When I came to USF, I was given a whole new opportunity to start over at life. And my coach basically kept a good watch on me. She knew that I needed a really tight leash in order to stay on track. Came out and was all confidence out here. I was invited to regionals and, you know, broke school records. I started off banging, and I got injured in my track season of 2008, and, you know, I fell apart. I had gone to practice one day. I was easing my way back into practice, and I was still wasted from the night before, hammered. I don't think I even had my hangover yet. I'm pretty sure I was still just drunk. And I started doing my drills, and it was embarrassing. Like, I was like falling on myself, and yeah, that didn't go over too well with my coach. I basically confessed to drinking, and she decided to remove me from the team. I moved across the country to run and to graduate, and to get kicked off another team, like, it made me think that my other coach was right, that I'm impossible to work with, that I will never recover, that I'm just a troublemaker. But my coach sat me down, and she told me that she believed in me and that she didn't want to remove me from the team for this, but she had to for her program. She cried. And she told me, I'm not taking your scholarship. I can take your scholarship, but I'm not going to take your scholarship. Yeah. I want you to graduate.
Finally did it.
There was really a lot of silver lining in me getting removed from this team. I didn't have to put skating in the back seat anymore, and I started pursuing skating and going to every event that I could. And I went out to Belgium and just did an amazing performance there, won a competition, got invited to another event in America to compete with the amateur men. And throughout qualifications with the amateur men, I got invited into the pro men's competition. I knew I had an invitation to the Asian X Games at that point, and that none of this could have happened if it weren't for everything, the good and the bad, that led up to that point over these last 5 years. And no woman has ever even been invited into that event.
She got 9th at the Asian X Games against the guys, and she does that pretty regularly. So it's good for the sport, just having girls that can kind of contend, you know, keep the guys on their toes a little bit.
It took skating to a whole other realm for me, and it is what keeps me grounded. It is what reminds me that there's a bigger picture whenever things get crazy, and it keeps me in touch with me, it keeps me in touch with my core. And if all else fails, I just put my skates on and I get a pretty clear, healthy mind again.